Hello and welcome. I am Motesh Deshpande, Senior Software Engineer at Thinkitive Technologies. Here at Thinkitive Technologies, we work on various cutting-edge technologies currently in the market to serve the client needs. And today, I'm going to show you a brief introduction on Kubernetes, and we are going to deploy a small project onto Kubernetes. Here, I am using NodeJS application, a backend application in particular. You can use anyone you want. So let's start.
Hello and welcome to this Kubernetes session. So in this session we are gonna look into how we are gonna deploy a basic backend application onto Kubernetes. So let's get started. First of all, we will see like what Kubernetes is. So Kubernetes is an open source container orchestration platform that automates many of the manual processes involved deploying, managing and scaling containerized applications. So in simple words, what does it means is like after git push, the work of DevOps started. So he have to manage the CI/CD pipelines, then he have to deploy the app, manage Jenkins and everything. Then there comes scaling. So all these things come into play when we talk about a particular application which is going on to the production. So when it comes to Kubernetes is a very simple but complex platform which can do this for us. So in very simple terms, in layman term, what Kubernetes is a system that manages containers, where a container could be explained as a lightweight virtual machine. We can take an example like a Docker container. To build an application, you need to build a bunch of containers and then use Kubernetes to manage those containers. It's that simple. It's like Docker containers on Kubernetes ship, and we are the pilot of it. It's just that. So what are the benefits of using Kubernetes? So we will see like containerized application deployed in K8s start up faster than the virtual machines we deploy to. This is like a very major fact when it comes to scaling. Let's say a single machine can handle 1000 requests only, but your like current user load is exceeding that limit. Let's say it's going 1500 or 1100. So what K8s will do, K8s will start another cluster for you, and that cluster will get started within fraction of seconds. Not exactly in fraction of seconds, it depends on the kind of application you are deploying. So but it's way faster than like any other process we see in the market currently. So then faster deployment cycles with Kubernetes up to 53% faster. So we can see the best we can achieve is 53%, like starting a new machine, we can say, simply. So auto scaling capabilities of Kubernetes gives a major advantage. As per rapidly growing organization demand, Kubernetes can scale up and down itself on its own. So we just have to like specify its auto scaling group. Once we did that, as the number of user increases, it can auto scale up, and as the number of user decreases, it can scale itself down. So it is more efficient in terms of cost. So that's another like benefit. So we, for this to go ahead, we will need some like prerequisites. First of all is a backend code. So I have one backend code with me here. It is just a simple Nest.js application written like running on Node.js. So you can use like any kind of backend like Java, Spring, Jenkins, not Jenkins, sorry, what is it, Python, Django. Django, you can use anything, and we can just simply deploy onto it, no issues. So here I have like basic my code. This is my server file which will listen on port 3000, and then few file we will need in this like session is this Docker file. It will like create a container for us, and then there comes the Kubernetes file. Where is it? Here it is. So in this file I have one deployment section and one service section. So what these two YAML hold is, this is the basic deployment file. So it holds your container. When it comes to Kubernetes, we have cluster. Inside cluster we will have nodes. On those nodes we are gonna deploy pods, and in those pods there will be a container. So the container we will create with a Docker file can be handled by this pod. And then comes the communication. How are we gonna, from our client machine, how are we gonna communicate with that pod? So here comes the service. The service will play as a load balancer for us, and it will like make the client and server communication possible. So that is it. That's what we are gonna need. Then we will need Docker installed on the local machine, like as per your operating system. Currently I am using Ubuntu here, so I have done those commands and setup. If you are using Windows, you will get direct the MSI file and you can download it, or if you are using Mac, then you can also get those commands to install Docker onto your system. Then you will need an ECR registry. So it's basically, it's not that hard to create an ECR when it comes to AWS, because they have given us everything like on our fingertips. So here we go, we'll sign in to our system. So select a proper region for you. So we will go to Elastic Container Registry. Get started. I'm gonna create a private one because I don't want anyone else to access it. Then here I will give the name, like my dummy project was veterinary hospital, so yeah, I'm giving this name. Then immobility, let it false, let everything as it is, and let's create a registry. Okay, so the repository is created. Now we have to like push our Docker container onto it. So what we are gonna do is like we are gonna push the Docker container onto ECR, then pick that container from ECR and deploy it onto KTS. It is the simple process. That's why I am using ECR. You can use GitHub, Bitbucket, or anyone would you like. Okay, so yeah, then our next step is, let's say kubectl installed on the local machine. So installing kubectl is also like very basic, so you can install it from, you can just Google how to install kubectl on this particular operating system and you will get everything. So let's write our Docker file. So this is the Docker file I am using. It's just simply saying that I am using node 16 and Alpine means it's Ubuntu. Working directory, my working directory will be app directory. Then add package.json. I'm gonna add package.json so that it will help the npm install to install all the required packages. Then I'm gonna copy everything to my container. This is copy ... Then expose 3000. I'm saying to the Docker container that please open the port 3000 for me because I'm gonna pass the request onto it. Then npm run build, so it will create a build for us. It is Nest.js, that's why I'm needing this npm run build. If you are using Express or any other framework, it will be like different commands for you, but just the building commands and running command, nothing else you don't have to worry about. And this is the final, like I'm saying the command prompt that use node to run my build, and my build is in dist folder and main file. So it will start from here. I'm just telling it that. So we are done with the Docker file. When it like if you are like getting jumbled, like where will I will find all these commands and all, don't worry. This everything I have in a separate blog. This blog is in the description below of this video, so you can go onto that blog and find more information about this video and about Kubernetes onto it. Okay, so once we have written the Docker file, it's time to create a Docker image. So I am into the folder of my project, the root folder where I have this Docker file and everything. So I'm gonna run this command docker build -t image name. So I'm gonna change this image name to, let's say, hospital, and this dot is mandatory, so don't mess it. So it will like create a container for us. It won't take a long, it is a fast process. and yeah, it also depends on the internet connection because it's gonna download some resources. So yeah, see, now it is like run npm install is already happening. Don't worry, these warnings are because I have done several things with this project, so that's why. If you are gonna use only those things which are necessary for Docker and you won't get these errors. And even if you get, don't worry about it, because if your project was running previously, then it will definitely gonna run onto Docker. So yeah, copy is done, then npm run build, my build is created, and yeah, here we go, we have everything set. So now I'm gonna, if you want to see your created images, you just have to like docker what is it, images, and you can see here vet hospital. The tag is latest, it will give latest tag by default. If you want to give some other tag, then you just have to like vet hospital colon the tag name like this, and we were good to go. So that's it. We have the container of size 586 658 MB, and now time is to like deploy it onto our ECR. So to deploy onto your ECR, you first have to register your, like configure your AWS with your terminal with AWS configure command. I will show you how to do that. And after that, what we will do, after configuration, we are gonna push this the registry we just have created, container onto the ECR. Alright, so let's configure our AWS CLI. So the command will be like AWS configure, and you have to provide your access key ID, your key secret, and your region. In my case, it's AP South 1. It may differ, but keep the output format as JSON, so it will be easier to read. Okay, once you've done that, now you can check if it is correct or not with this command, AWS IAM get user. So AWS IAM with this command, if you get this kind of output, then yes, it is configured. Now the next step is to configure our ECR. So here the command is like AWS ECR get login password region. Here you have to mention your region in this section, and then sudo docker login username password, and here in case of this you have to paste this. Okay, just remove this name, we don't need that here, and hit enter, and it's succeeded. After that, we are gonna tag our image to ECR. So again, okay, first we will need image ID. So this is our image ID. Yeah, this is our commands. So I'm gonna paste this command, this ID here, and then the URI of our repository, but this time the full URI. So it's done. Now it is tagged, and then we can do like pushing it to our ECR. Okay, oh sorry. So here, we have to mention this URI. And we are good to go. Okay, I forgot the sudo, and that's it. The image is getting pushed. It will take a bit time, but until then we can see like what are the next thing we are gonna need. So we are gonna need IAM roles for our master nodes and worker nodes. So let's create that. Just on your console, go to IAM, okay, here it is. Now go to roles. You're gonna have to create one. I think I have one already created. Let's see. Lambda hospital. Yeah, these two are created for me. Actually you can create those, it's pretty easy. Just go on to the create role, then we want EC2 roles. Okay, EC2. Next, here we are gonna search what rules we need. So this policy, add it. Then the second one, don't worry, all these policies are mentioned in my blog, so you can refer them there. Paste it, and this one. Okay, and the last one, which is this. So it is here. Yeah, hit on next. Just review that everything you have set is here, and then hit create role and give a proper name here for your role. Okay, and just do the same. Okay, yeah, so just do the same for your worker nodes. In this case you just have to mention these rules for it, like Amazon EKS cluster policy, Amazon EKS worker node policy, Amazon EC2 container registry read only policy, and Amazon EKS CNI policy. Now it's time to create our cluster. So just type EKS, which is Elastic Kubernetes Service provided by AWS, and just hit add cluster, create one, give it a name. I'm just gonna give it a name like demo. I'll recommend always use the default or like the version which is one below of the latest one. Then here choose your role for the master node, because we are creating the master nodes here, and EKS is gonna take care of that itself. We don't have to worry about them, we just have to worry about our worker nodes. Okay, yeah, so the default VPC I'm gonna keep it there only. The security group should be default IPv4. Then cluster endpoint access I'm gonna make it public because I want everyone can access it. Then VPC CNI I'm gonna keep all these things default. Hit next. I don't want any kind of login, but if you want you can anytime turn them on, and it's good when you are practicing to turn them on so you can like watch the errors or anything. Okay, so preview and create. So the most important thing is, once you create a cluster and nodes inside it, it's gonna cost you $0.10, like it will be like 8 to 10 rupees per hour. For every hour you are gonna use that cluster. So be careful. Once you are done with it, delete it, talk to your managers or whoever gonna give you access before like creating your cluster, because it's too costly and it will roughly take 10 to 15 minutes to create a cluster, so we will have to wait until then. So let's meet after that. Alright, here we go, our cluster is created. Now this is only the master means master node cluster. Now we have to create the working node, so just go to the compute section, and here at the second tab you can see add node group. Just go on it. Now this is our worker node group, so I'm gonna name it worker group. And then select the IAM role, which is worker node role, which we have created. Then launch template, no. Okay, keep everything as it is, hit next. Then here you can select which AMI type, the machine type you want, capacity type, on demand. I'm gonna keep it as it is, and I'm gonna select a micro one because it's gonna cost me. Then for testing purpose or for our application, 10 GB is more than sufficient, so I'm gonna keep it on 10 GBs. Then desired size, I'm gonna keep it 2 as it is, and hit next. Now choose the subnets. I'm gonna keep those as they are, and review everything what you have created and hit on create. So it will also take up to 15 minutes, so we have to wait until they are created. Once they are done, we have to follow some few more steps to push it. Until then, let's look at our YAML file which we have created. So I have named it wait deploy.yaml. You can name it as you want. So here we are giving API version app/v1 kind development. So the Kubernetes will know that yeah, this is the development file. With the help of this file, I'm gonna create a deployment. Okay, and this is the app name. Keep in mind that this app name is very important, the label. Then in spec section, we are gonna specify all things which we want with our cluster. So I'm gonna want one replica of this pod, means there will be one replica. One pod will contain, or one node will contain these two pods, which will have one original deployment and one its replica, and the service will load balance it, so we don't have to worry about it. Then match labels, here with deployment this will match here. Okay, and then template, it's just the template or the file or name. Then containers, here we are gonna specify the containers. Container name will be wait hospital. Image, this is the image from our repository ECR, and container port 3000. So we have to give 3000 here because we are using 3000 in container also. We can like change it, but let's keep it as it is, so it will be easier to understand. These 3 dashes hyphens means that our one YAML is over and the below one is the second one. So this is app version v1 kind service. It will be work as a load balancer, and the selector with hospital. So this is gonna select this app wait hospital. Alright, and then the protocol we are gonna use is TCP port 3000 and target port 3000. Now I can change this port to any port I like, but I can't change this port, target port, because this target port is gonna target to this port, the port of the container. So keep in mind that these two ports should be equal, and just change this one, or you can keep it as it is, no need to change it, like I am keeping it as it is, and the load balancer. Alright, so now we will wait until our worker nodes get created, and once it is done, we will start the next process. Okay, it is created, it seems. Alright, so we can see in the compute tab here, both the worker nodes are ready, status is active. So now we can start deploying our app. So for deployment, we just have to first configure our EKS. Where is it? Okay, yeah. So to configure our cluster with our AWS CLI, we just need this command. So AWS EKS update kubeconfig, which is our Kubernetes config, and in the region I'm gonna specify my region, which is AP South 1, and the name of the cluster. So name of the cluster should be accurate. Here it is, and I'm gonna hit enter, added a new context, and yeah, the cluster is added. Now the next step is to start the deployment. Okay, so with this command kubectl create -f, I'm gonna change this name to my deployment file name and hit enter. It's gonna deploy this deployment file. You can see we have one deployment and one service, and if we check here, it's saying like deployment is created and service is created. To check them like in motion, we can hit these commands. So what watch will do, it will give us state, like keep giving us the status as new things are happening to the particular nodes. So these are created, so we don't need to like remonitor them. So these are pods watch, then services watch, everything you can watch as they are like creating. And kubectl get all will give us all the information. Here is our pod which is running, this is our service, this is our cluster IP, this is the load balancer, this is the external IP on which we are gonna connect to, this is our deployment, and this is the replica set which we have mentioned that we will need one replica of it. So after that we have to expose our service, because right now the service is not exposed and we are unable to connect to it, so we are gonna expose it. So this is the command kubectl expose deployment with deployment type load balancer, and the service name is veternal service. Here the name should be this one, the vet service. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna hit enter. It's gonna okay already exist because I have already like exposed it. If it isn't already exposed, it will get like exposed and you will get success response. After that I'm gonna export the columns. Yeah, it's done, and then we are gonna test it with the curl command. So the curl command, we don't need it. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna copy this external IP. Okay, wait, paste it here. What else do I need? Okay, I'll need a port number which is 3000. This will be the port number which you have mentioned at the this port. Okay, not the target port, it will be this port here. Okay, so and I'll need, okay, and the API, like in my case, okay, let's just hit the plain API. Okay, and see, it has given me the output hello world message which I have mentioned here. When you go here, no, in my app service, see on, wait, okay, on controller, this controller basic control is gonna get this written hello world, and we can see here we have got it. So this is how we are gonna deploy our basic backend application onto kubectl. It's that easy, no need to worry about. If you get any errors, let me know in the comments. I will definitely be there to help. Thank you.
Okay, so we are done with the video. Hope it will help you understand the Kubernetes better and start your journey onto Kubernetes. I have also written the same blog on Kubernetes on Thinkitive's website, and I am mentioning the link in the description below, so please visit it. Then if you are looking for any kind of software solution across multiple domains, contact Thinkitive Technologies. Happy learning!
Thinkitive, thinking every bit.